for you us on this Zoom link. Before we start, I know that we have a few topics to share together today. MD, which is a LFE, will present direct and showcase what he and any of you can, of course, start asking questions, and of course, after any topic you would like to share on the community. But before that, I'm happy to give you an update on, at least I've selected 2 points that are, let's say, brand new and hot at the moment. So let me share screen. So you should see my screen now. Okay. It's all right for all? Yeah? Okay, cool. So the first thing I would like to come back on, because a very hot topic for us, is this news that we shared regarding capability within Microx to expose your API as an MCP server in order to test that AI compatible and that you can do AI agent and create stuff. So the idea and what we're having at the moment, we are creating mock, expose this mock SST, the protocol, expose them as MCP. And you can use any tool and interact with UI services through MCP. So that's quite, let's say, interesting and quite hot. And I'll let you check, the latest spot that we've done on that. But the incredible point, let's say, and thanks to Microx capabilities and especially our focus on multi-protocol and multi-spec, we are already, as I wrote here, able to expose your REST API, your gRPC, and GraphQL services through MCP on Microx nightly build. That's going to be released in the next version, which is going to be 1.12 in a few weeks. I mean, it's under cooking. You can see all the videos that Laurent have recorded on our YouTube channel, of course. If you go here on the videos, you have the GraphQL video for MCP, gRPC, and OpenAPI REST API over here. So check it out. That's quite, let's say, hot and interested. We have a very amazing feedback from adopters and especially enterprises who are testing MCP and prototyping, their next AI agent and stuff like that. Maybe I can try to show you what it looked like, by the way. If I'm just using, let's see if I can use this one, for example, which is something that some of you guys know. So here I'm using the Postman client, and Postman client have the capabilities to now interact with MCP servers through HTTP. And here, I have just added my mock endpoint. So if I'm going, let me do that. If I'm going over here, I have a Microx instance running on my machine. I just use a Docker Compose and so on. I have all my API services, and I have imported an OpenAPI spec for API pastries, which is coming from our samples. And now what you have here, generated by Microx, is of course the usual API endpoint that you can use to request, pastries by name and so on, but also an SSE endpoint. If I'm clicking on over here, I have the SSE endpoint that I can copy paste right over here, and then an MCP client just discovering my services, my API operation here, REST, as MCP tools. And then I can, for example, get pastries, and I have exactly the same type of answers as if I'm using a REST client, or if I'm developing a consumer using my REST APIs. But except that this time is through MCP. Can query by name. For example, if I would like to query a millefeuille, I can run that, and I have all my answers over here. So JSON, of course, and a preview, which is, let's say, a better look and feel. And the beauty of it is you can use any MCP client. You can develop any agent who are using there's facilities and there's MCP tools that you can expose, which are just coming from Microx, mock endpoints and simulation from Microx, and could be they using the nightly build, because that's the version I'm using today, the latest nightly build from yesterday. You can query REST, gRPC, GraphQL. So that's quite amazing, and it's just the beginning of the story. So stay tuned, and don't forget, to follow us over here on LinkedIn, because we have a huge amount of activities that we are sharing over here. And by the way, if you don't follow us on LinkedIn today, please do. I'll show you something that is quite interesting. Is we are close to 3K followers on LinkedIn. So just missing a few, less than 60, and we're going to be able to promote and advertise the fact that we are 3K followers on LinkedIn now. So that's the first thing I would like to express and showcase and demonstrate to you, because it's a very hot topic, but it's not only a question of latest fashion. It's really quite useful for people who are evaluating AI agent, MCP, and all the AI stuff, and just in order to reuse their existing APIs, in order to, let's say, just maybe test or prototype if they are ready for the next, let's say, what people are thinking, what is going to be the future of all the next services interactions. The second point, and I'm going to try to make it short, is a very, let's say, new feature. It has been merged yesterday, and it's coming from, again, the community and adopter needs. We have a lot of community users, and especially big enterprises, who are using Microx to do load testing, stress tests, benchmark, by using mock and simulation of their own API services. And for this purpose, they are generating a lot of load, and they would like to replicate, what they may, what the consumer may see or may experience in production, which is most of the time different latencies per API endpoints. And in Microx, so far, if I'm checking again this pass-tree endpoints, and this one, for example, get pass-tree by name, it was possible to edit the properties and to add it a specific delay per operation. So let's say, so first of all, I'm going to show you what I'm dealing about. So without any changes, so then you see what I'm dealing with. Here, let me remove that. It's too big for me. So here, if I'm trying just to copy paste this endpoint, for example, I would like to query a millefeuille. I'm doing a copy to curl, and here I can just, do this request by PGEQ, and oops, what I've done. Better like that. And here I have, my answer from the mock. If I'm checking the response time for that, as you can see, here it's, quite responsive. I can add a delay over here, and the usual way to do it is to edit the properties, as I said previously. I'm really sorry for that, just do that. Yeah, okay. And here, if I'm adding, let's say, 200 milliseconds, you can say that. But, and as you can see, that will apply to all the examples and all the operations. I mean, it's the same delay for all the query in the same operation. And here, as you can see, the delay have increased. Where is my response time? Sorry. Oops. Yeah, okay, got it. And then you can increase the delay over here. So what we have done, which is brand new, and again, coming from adapter request, we have a new way now to set up delay that's been added in the doc. You can check it over here. And the beauty of it is we can add a delay per example in the case of MOX. And very easy to do it. Just add the delay you would like on your request from your client side, from a client side point of view, and increase that delay. If you change that delay, and if you, it will take over the one that you may have set up on the UI. Again, if I'm coming back to show you what it look here, I have my, millefeuille query here. As you can see, delay is very, very low. I can just increase the delay, 500 milliseconds, for example. And here, as you can see, was waiting for 500 milliseconds. I can do that on any query. And that's, I think, very, very useful. And we have big adopters who are heavy users of JMeter and any tool like that. And now they will be able to automate all their benchmark and tests using this new facility. So we'll promote this new entry and way of managing delay in the coming days, let's say, and be ready for using it in a nightly build. That's already been confirmed, validated, and tested by adopters. So it's going to be integrated in the next release, which is 1.12, as I said previously. So that's all for me. All the stuff I would like to just to demonstrate today. And now maybe MD, you can take over if you want, and showcase what you are working on.
Yeah, am I audible?
You are, yeah, and you can share your screen.
Yeah.
If you have anything to share, up to you. Sorry for that. All right, okay. I was lost in all my too many windows open. So, MD, I'll let you introduce yourself, introduce the project you're working on, and floor is yours, let's say.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, and see your screen.
So, hello everyone. My name is MD Khurshid, and currently I am a LFX mentee under the CNCF Microx project. And let me. So, this is the project, building community driven documentation for deploying Microx. So currently we don't have the guide for deploying Microx on cloud production environment. So this is the main goal of project is to share the best practice and deployment guide for deploying Microx on various cloud providers like GCP and GCP, AWS, OVH, and Oracle, like that. So let me- so this is the yeah yeah this is the directory where I have created this like a table where anyone can see the current status of the deployment guide on various cloud providers. So also they can see the documentation of the cloud providers, like how to deploy and the everything. So two of the documentation is already completed, like AWS and GCP. Vasno has created documentation for the AWS, and this is this is GCP which I have created. So one of the challenging part of deploying Microx, like giving the only the required permissions to the IAM user or any service account. Like uh, they have to get the every required permissions from the root user, because they don't have like root accounts, so they are like deploying as a developer or and even like working in a company. So these are the one of the challenging parts. So only give the required permissions to deploy Microx. Like here you can see the Cloud SQL. These are the first. I have not given this permission. So during the deployment, I faced the issue. So I again get back to root account and give this permission to the service account. So you can see the like I have created the GK clusters, and like we are using like we are using external Keycloak and also the cloud native services, like for GCP where we are using like Cloud SQL instead of internal Keycloak like Keycloak PostgreSQL, we are using Cloud SQL. And for the MongoDB, like I tried to use the Firestore, but it is not a compatible, it is not fully compatible with Microx and the MongoDB. So we switched to the external like MongoDB uh, for like scalability and the security. We are using cloud native services instead of internal Keycloak services. So you can see, uh, yeah. So we have created the we have created the different docs for deploying Keycloak on the on the GK. So you can see, so giving all the like for certificate Nginx, we have installed the Nginx controller. So it's automatically assign the certificate during the Keycloak deployment. So this is the custom Helm chart we are using. You can see here. So instead of like Cloud SQL, we have here, you can see Cloud PostgreSQL, we have turned it off and using the Cloud SQL, which we have created instead on GKE. So we are giving the all the credentials you can give here. So all the Keycloak data will be saved on the cloud GCP Cloud SQL instead of PostgreSQL. So after deployment, you can see the pod status, and also the one of the like main part you have to, after deploying Keycloak, you have to log in using the same credential which I've given here you for Keycloak, like Microx admin and my whatever you want to give. So using this credential, you have to log in with Keycloak and create a client. So you can create a client and the user, which user you will be used to log in during the Microx. Like when you want to use the Micros, that user you have to that user credential you have to use to log in the Microx. So after that, yeah, yeah, external MongoDB, you can deploy on the GK, and then the second most challenging part is deploying Microx. So I created the custom YAML file for deploying Microx for like you can see for like Nginx annotation we have given, and this is the URL. You can provide your domain, and or you can use the free domain also. So here you can do the changes, and Keycloak you can see enable true. That means we want to use the Keycloak for this build, and install is false. That is saying like we are not using the internal Keycloak. We are using external Keycloak. That's why it is false. So you can provide your Keycloak URL here, and realm which you have created, and the client ID and the client secrets. And also for MongoDB, you can see it install false. That is, we are not using inbuilt MongoDB. We are using external ones. So you can provide the database and whichever credential you have created during the MongoDB deployment. And yes, that secret file you have to create. So yeah, here you have created the secrets file for username and the password, which will be saved in the local Kubernetes. So that will be automatically taken from that. during the Microx deployment, find that sorry, yeah, one second, yeah, that username, key, and the password. So after that, you can deploy the Microx and check the pods, everything is ready or not. So yeah, after that you can go to the to the URL of the Microx and also log in using the same username and same the user password and the username which you have like created user in the Keycloak. So also for asynchronous, I have also created it's the same. Only difference is for asynchronous deployment. So automatically it will be false. When you deploy Microx, it will be false. Asynchronous feature is false. That means it will be there is no asynchronous feature. So here we have done it true, and also the URL which you have to provide. So this is the same, and now you can use the Microx with the asynchronous features. And also like I have created the troubleshooting guide. So whatever the like issue I have faced during the deployment, I have included every like issue which I have faced during deployment and how to resolve that, and also the like troubleshooting things and like how to debug things. And so this will help the adapters and anyone which is want to deploy Microx on GK. That will this will really like save their time during the deployment. So yeah, this is it. And yeah, so next I will be like working on deploying Microx on Azure, that is AKS, and anyone who is interested to like contribute in this, then it's really welcoming and really appreciable. Anyone can deploy on Oracle, OVH, and SQL. So it will be really welcoming, and I will be working on Azure deployment. So this is it from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, MD, and that's a very nice overview. Maybe just as well to explain a little bit why we have done this project and why we have you, Krishi, which is also working on some of the aspect of the community deployment part, and Vishnav, and a third Mentee, which is dedicated to AWS deployment. So this repo, community repo, is clearly dedicated, first of all, to our open governance stuff, all the information we are sharing with the community, but also it's a place where we ideally would like contribution from end users, adopters, and from the community, and everything that we think that are, let's say, at the border or the core project. By saying that, I mean you have an installation directory and you have a tool directory. And we consider as a pure open source project that we are a project, we are not a product. On the other end, we have a lot of adopters and users and big enterprises who are requesting a lot of information on how to deploy Microx at scale in production in any Kubernetes flavors and so on. We don't consider that as, let's say, the job and part of the core focus that an open source project like us should have and should, maintain. Because that can engage production, SLA, and strong commitment on what you're going to be live and in production for our adopters. So by doing that, and thanks to the mentees who have initiated that, what we would like is to help, share, and engage with people who are using Microx in production by sharing their best practices and way of doing deployment. So this is why this is on a dedicated repo. We really would like and engage the community to check it out, provide feedback, review it, help to maintain it, because it's outside of the core scope of the project. In all the features that I showed previously, that's what we would like to focus on as maintainers, code owners, and contributors on the Microx project. All the stuff related to the way to deploy it at scale, which by using best practices, which is using external database from MongoDB, external Keycloak, and so on, and all the specificities related to these cloud providers, that's where we need your help as end users and adopters. So thanks a lot, MD. Thanks, Krishi and Vishnav. You'll see a lot of useful information on how to deploy it by using best practices. And we think that can be used at scale and help adopters to speed up their own deployment. But we need feedback and especially adopters to maintain that. That's critical. All right. So that's just what I would like to add. And
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone have a specific point to share or question on what I said and what MD has presented, because that's important to clearly understand the purpose of that.
Yeah, also like anyone who is want to review our deployment guide, like which I have done on GK or AWS Vaishnav have done. So it will be really helpful if anyone review the guide and test and review and provide the feedback on that. So it will be really appreciable.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Rat.
I know one guy from one company that they're checking out Microx and they're using AWS, and I'm pretty sure he's deploying it for his team. So I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, check it out. You know, within the AWS directory, you have some, let's say, quite a lot of installation information and documentation. And Vishnav is also working on a CloudFormation script in order to do a fully automated deployment by using as well AWS services like RDS for Postgre for Keycloak, MongoDB, which is DocumentDB on AWS services and so on. So I think can really help them, Lucas. And of course, if you can join and help us, more than happy. That's clearly what we need.
Just please, if you can share the link to this document in the chat, then.
Yeah. I'll do that. And in the meantime, because Lucas, I think maybe it's the first time you are joining the community meeting. I know you pretty well, but I'm sure that maybe the mentees over here or the people who are going to see the recording don't know you. So maybe you can just introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on, because that's quite huge as well.
Thank you. Hi, folks. I'm Bold Guy from Poland, working in Async API initiative. I'm one of the maintainers and also have some other roles. But basically, I'm here because one of my super important roles at Async API is I'm the maintainer of Async API Generator, which is basically a tool you can use to generate code based on Async API contracts. And just really quickly, briefly, so because you could see previously, Yassine was showing some stuff with RESTful APIs, basically based on importing open API documents. So async API documents, they are similar to Open API, but they're for asynchronous APIs. So, you know, Kafka, WebSockets, and other stuff. And going back to Async API Generator, I'm here because we wanted to find a solution for the generator where we can, in an automated way and the most easy possible way, test our generator if the generated clients are actually working. If the generated code, especially during changes in the pull requests, if the generated code still works as expected. So that's why Microx came into play.
And for when I was saying that we know us pretty well and from a long time, because Microx is quite well integrated with Async API since more or less day one, because we've been certainly one of the first tool to be able to mock and test Async API v2. And we have been able to do Async API v3 support. I mean, quite right after the specification was released. And Laurent, that you all know, is also how you name it, TSC members of Async API. So let's say pretty well connected. I mean, the two communities are really working hand in hand, which is amazing. And for the one who don't know, regarding event-driven async API support, we already have 8 different binding for async protocol within Microx. Kafka, of course, one of the biggest usages, as you can imagine, but also WebSocket, MQTT, NATS, RabbitMQ, AWS SNS SQS, and Google PubSub. And maybe we'll see some others based on community requests. And Lucas, I know that we also have shared and you have exchanged quite a lot of useful and cool stuff regarding WebSocket support. I don't know if you would like to say a word on that, or if you have anything to share.
Maybe just share some details. So basically, basing on the exchange I had with Laurent, actually not only Laurent, I think one guy that was on the call but had to leave was also involved. Yeah, but anyway, so the current situation is we actually have the whole configuration in the generator now. So the basic clients we're working on now, the JavaScript and the Python one, they are already like we have out of the box configuration that like you generate them and you're able to test them with Microx if they're compliant with the Async API contract. And I'm now working on the automation, of course, to have it on a pull request level running on GitHub Actions. And on the other side, also, I'm now working because I'm cooperating with Linux Foundation as an author in the blog called Evil Talks. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I already started writing an article about Async API and Microx to basically promote it more as a give back to Laurent for his time and being there for answering questions.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and one thing, but I already had exchange with Laurent, is the only confusion for me is the like the biggest confusion is the fact that in case of WebSocket, when we were setting up tests, the mocks are working very well to produce events. So we can easily really write a really simple test to check if the events are coming in. And yeah, it was a bit complex and to set up like and to understand basically how we can actually test if the client is producing the events the right way, because Microx, as far as I remember, it's not evaluating. It's not possible to connect to a mock and wherever I want and just send events and then evaluate if they're coming in. So we had to do some gymnastics, let's say, or workarounds in our tests. That our test spins up a WebSocket, so we can connect it with Microx, and then Microx can listen to whatever our WebSocket is echoing. So we had to twist it a bit. So I also explained it in the article so people know how to use it. And feel free if you think after some time that like this article is useful for the community, if somebody wants to copy the content and put it in the docs in some official way, that's also completely fine from my side.
That's really cool, and thanks a lot for this update. Clearly looking forward to see the article, and we are, let's say, very happy that let's say Microx can be useful for your development cycle as well, because we've been strong supporters and users of Async API spec, and the fact that you are able to use and leverage Microx for testing purpose and doing contract testing, it's just, I mean, it's just amazing, and we are very, very proud and grateful for that. So looking forward, the blog post, going to be more than happy to help and share with the community to promote it and try to amplify the effect. And I think could be also an amazing story to tell for some talks and events and stuff like that, because that's huge, let's say, and especially on EDA. I don't think that I mean that a lot of people have or a lot of projects are doing it the way you are on the way to release or what you already done, which is quite amazing. And I can imagine, when you're going to integrate Microx within your CI, which is GitHub Actions and so on, and workflow, how I guess efficient it's going to be for pull review and merge requests and so on. Can avoid a lot of pitfall up front, and that's great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will, because like especially when you have a lot of contributors,
Yeah,
you might and it's quite often, and the number of contributors is increasing. Then of course it's making a silly mistake. It's easy. So it's better if you learn about the silly mistake in the pull request rather than after some time from the GitHub issue.
that's cool. Very cool. So then, by the way, Lucas, tell me when it's ready and live, especially on the CI and so on. But maybe I can ask you a favor. It's if you can, add. I'll put it in a chat, but I guess you know what I'm dealing with. If you can add async API and the project within our adopter list, that could be great.
Yeah, and then in a few years, people will think like, who was first? Was it Microx or Async API?
Got it. I think we already are in your adopter list, but if not, I'll change that. But update it. But I think we are for quite a while.
Yeah, I put the Async API there, but I'll put it there when we have the automation in place,
Absolutely.
and the
Yeah.
article is out, so it's also gonna be, I think, much better even
No,
if the article is out.
yeah, no rush. But when the article is live, you can add it in the comment and so on within the PR. That's amazing. That's very, very cool. Thanks a lot, Lucas, for that. Yeah, go ahead.
And just to clarify, because I'm not gonna the article, it's not gonna be aligned well with, for example, what you were talking, what MDE was talking about, because I know that one of the use cases for Microx is that you basically, if you have a good governance, like good API team, that they will host Microx for all the teams, right? What's the point of like having your local instance if you can have it for the whole company to easily integrate? But my article is mainly on the local first experience. So I will be like mainly promoting this local first, that you can locally, without waiting for anybody in the company, on a plane, start Microx and start prototyping.
Which is absolutely fine, because we are able to do that both. And put it here, an article that I wrote some time ago on the fact that we are creating a bridge between the inner loop and the outer loop. And as you said, what MDF presented on SON is the way to install and help installation on Kubernetes, centralized way that everybody within the enterprise can use. But as well that we are running on the laptop, like what I showcased previously is everything was running on my laptop, can be fully disconnected, and we are also a lot of interaction and users and interest on the test container modules for local development. And as you can imagine, it's exactly the same way of mocking and testing capabilities and features on your laptop within your IDE if you are using test containers and so on, or on top of Kubernetes. So the story perfectly fit, and we are able to, let's say, to manage both and create a bridge between both and avoid, the usual pitfall that all developers and QA and engineers already heard within their career. It work on my laptop and not on QA or a validation system anymore. With this approach, it should not happen anymore. So that's perfectly aligned.
Awesome.
Good. So any other point, anything to share, any issues or any point you would like to, to share during the community meeting, feel free.
Oh, there is no such point. I will tag if any issue or any.
Yeah, and MD, as you heard from Lucas, maybe you may have, we'll see if it's confirmed, but a new contributor for the doc, which is great.
Yeah, really great.
All right, that's cool. So if we don't have any other point to share, we still have a few minutes. Just something I just would like to advertise, but we will promote it on social. But that's quite important for us. 21 and 22 of May, in less than 2 weeks, Laurent and I will be in Barcelona for Spring.io. Which is, let's say, the biggest Spring Boot developer event. Going to be the first time for us, first time that we will represent Microx. And lucky we are, first time that we have a talk. And it's going to be a talk with our friends from Dapper. And we'll showcase Dapper and Microx integration. So yet another nice story to share with the community in order to, let's say, join forces with some of the cool projects. So stay tuned, because we'll advertise, first of all, the fact that we will be at Spring.io and in Barcelona. By the way, if there is any community users and users adopters who are in Barcelona area who would like to schedule meeting with us, dedicated meetup, workshop, or whatever, just reach out. We're going to be fully dedicated to the community as usual during these events. So that's it for me for today. I will try to do my best to check the recording, shrink it a little bit. And if I can, because I think I've done that previously, I can try to live stream again through our system if I'm able to sort out the issue that I have had at the beginning, but should be okay. So stay tuned. If I can live stream again, I'll do it. It's going to be a few hours after the event, but that's okay. In any case, I'll put it on YouTube in the coming days or before the end of the week. So thanks a lot, all, and stay tuned and keep going the API and doing API the best way you can. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers.